There is a moment in The Lord of the Rings that almost feels impossible the first time you notice it. For a brief time, Samwise Gamgee carried the One Ring. Not Frodo, not Gandalf, not Galadriel, Sam. And yet somehow, the same object that destroyed kings, corrupted warriors, and turned Sméagol into Gollum over centuries, could not truly break him. Why? Why was Sam able to hand the ring back willingly when even mighty figures in Middle-earth feared touching it? Why did the ring fail to twist him into another Gollum? And perhaps most importantly, was Sam actually stronger than people think? Or did he possess something the ring simply could not fully understand? Because the deeper you look into Tolkien's story, the more extraordinary Sam becomes. Not because he was powerful, but because he was ordinary in a world where power always came with a price. Welcome back to Middle-earth Explained. Let's get started. Before we can understand why Sam resisted the ring, we first need to understand what the ring usually did to people. The One Ring was not simply a magical object. In Tolkien's Legendarium, it carried part of Sauron himself inside it, his will, his malice, his hunger for domination, and the ring worked differently depending on who carried it. For powerful individuals, the temptation was immediate. The ring did not merely offer invisibility or protection. It offered control, authority, the chance to reshape the world according to one's own desires.
Take it, Gandalf! Take it!
No, Frodo.
You must take it!
Don't tempt me, Frodo!
That is why Gandalf refused it, why Galadriel feared it, why even Aragorn kept his distance. They understood a terrifying truth. The stronger your ambitions were, the stronger the ring's hold became. Boromir is perhaps the clearest example of this. Boromir was not evil. In many ways, he was noble, courageous, and deeply loyal to Gondor. But the ring slowly found the weakness inside him, his desperation to save his people, his belief that strength and victory justified risk.
I ask only for the strength to defend my people. If you would but lend me the ring.
No.
And once the ring identified that desire, it began twisting it. That is what the ring always did. It preyed upon the things people already wanted most. For Sméagol, it was possessiveness and greed. For Boromir, it was power to defend Gondor. For Saruman, it was domination and knowledge. The ring did not create evil from nothing. It amplified what was already there. And this is exactly what makes Sam so fascinating. Because when the ring searched Sam's heart for ambition, it found almost nothing to work with.
If I take one more step, it'll be the farthest away from home I've ever been.
What made Sam difficult for the ring to corrupt was not power. It was the complete lack of ambition. The One Ring preyed upon desire. It offered warriors victory, rulers domination, and the wise the chance to reshape the world. That is why figures like Boromir and Saruman were vulnerable to it. But Samwise Gamgee was different. He was not dreaming of kingdoms or power. He was a gardener from the Shire, someone who valued simple things: food, peace, friendship, and home. And that made him incredibly hard for the ring to manipulate. When Sam briefly carries the ring in Mordor, Tolkien shows the ring trying to tempt him. For a moment, Sam imagines himself as Samwise the Strong, a mighty hero capable of defeating Sauron. The ring even offers him a vision of turning Mordor into one enormous garden. But Sam quickly realizes the truth. He does not actually want to rule anyone. A small garden in the Shire means more to him than an empire won through power. And that is the crucial difference between Sam and so many others in Middle-earth. The ring could offer greatness to Sam, but greatness was never what he truly wanted. Still, even Sam was not completely immune, because the longer anyone carried the ring, the more dangerous it became.
They've taken it. Sam, they took the ring. Begging your pardon, but they haven't.
For all of Sam's resistance, there was still a moment when the ring began pulling at him. After Shelob attacks Frodo in Cirith Ungol, Sam believes his master is dead. And in that moment of grief and panic, he does something extraordinary. He takes the One Ring for himself. For a brief time, Sam becomes the ring bearer, and almost immediately, the ring begins working on him. Tolkien describes Sam imagining himself as a mighty warrior called Samwise the Strong, a hero powerful enough to overthrow Sauron and transform Mordor into a paradise of gardens and forests. This is important because it proves Sam was not immune. The ring still tempted him with power, glory, and the ability to reshape the world. But unlike so many others, Sam recognizes the lie before it fully consumes him. Deep down, he understands something the ring cannot comprehend. He does not need greatness to be happy. A simple life in the Shire means more to him than becoming a ruler over Middle-earth. And that realization becomes one of the most important turning points in the entire story. Because while many characters resisted taking the ring, very few could ever willingly let it go once it was theirs.
I thought I lost you, so I took it. Only for safekeeping.
One of the most overlooked moments in all of The Lord of the Rings happens when Sam returns the ring to Frodo, because by that point, giving up the ring should have been almost impossible. We see this throughout Tolkien's story again and again. Gollum murdered for it. Boromir tried to seize it. Even centuries later, the ring still controlled Isildur's fate long after he claimed it. The ring wanted possession, ownership, attachment.
This fellow ain't dead.
But when Sam discovers Frodo is still alive inside the Tower of Cirith Ungol, his first instinct is not to keep the ring for himself. It is to return it to its rightful bearer. And for a moment, Sam hesitates. Not because he wants power, but because the ring is already beginning to bond with him. Tolkien subtly shows the weight of surrendering it. Sam understands that once he gives it back, he may never hold it again. Yet, he still does it willingly. That is what makes Sam unique. Unlike Gollum, he never viewed the ring as my precious. Unlike Boromir, he never believed he deserved to wield it. And unlike Sauron, he never saw power itself as the answer. To Sam, the ring was never truly his. It was simply a burden he carried for someone he loved. And that may be the single greatest reason the ring could never fully control him.
I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you.
What makes Sam's story even more remarkable is that, in some ways, he and Gollum were not so different. Neither were mighty warriors or kings. Both were small hobbit-like creatures who carried the ring deep into Mordor, and both spent long periods exposed to its influence. But one became completely consumed by it, while the other did not. The difference was not strength. It was love. Gollum was isolated for centuries. The ring became his only purpose, his only identity, until he could no longer imagine life without it. Everything became centered around possession. Sam was the opposite. Even in Mordor, his thoughts constantly returned to Frodo, the Shire, and the simple life waiting beyond the darkness. His loyalty to someone else was stronger than the ring's attempt to turn everything inward toward himself. That is why Sam never became another Gollum. The ring thrives on loneliness, obsession, and greed. But Sam's heart was always tied to friendship, sacrifice, and home. And in Tolkien's world, those simple things often prove stronger than power itself.
There's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for.
In the end, Samwise Gamgee resisted the One Ring for the same reason he carried Frodo across Mordor. He never sought power for himself. Where others saw domination, glory, or control, Sam only wanted to protect the people he loved and return home to the Shire. And that simple humility made him far stronger against the ring than many of Middle-earth's greatest figures. The One Ring could corrupt ambition. It could twist pride and greed. But it struggled against someone whose heart was still rooted in friendship, loyalty, and the quiet life he never stopped fighting for.
Samwise the Brave. I want to hear more about Sam.
Samwise the Brave.
If you like this kind of video, join the channel and leave a like for more content like this. It really helps me out. Thanks for watching, and as always, see you on the next one.
One ring to rule them all.